starting with the Sifuna. The man talks too much about Gen Zs, and at night he is with the Raila, planning how to go to the State House to receive their monthly stipends. These are the men and women that we need to visit them and tell them off. Because today we are not fools like our parents, we are not fools like our ancestors, we are not fools like those people who were there during Moi regime. Today we need to call everything out, and let me tell you, we are not going to accept any member of parliament who is in parliament today to come back in that parliament. If there is any constituency that is going to bring any member of parliament today back to that parliament, that constituency now is the one that will be failing this nation. It doesn't matter what they say today. Because if we have a member of parliament who can stand and talk against this government by the word of mouth, and there's nothing they are doing, no action is showing that indeed they are with the people. We have given them mandate. They have the tools of power. They have everything that they can do, even to recall the president. Because I'm wondering if members of parliament, a senator, can stand and say, oh, this regime is bad, blah, 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 blah. After that, they go back, they draw the same salary from the same government, they sit with the same people. That is total hypocrite. So today, if you are from any constituency, what we need to civic education that we need to pass across each and every person should hear is that any member of parliament serving today that are saying they are against this government and there's no action they are doing, they are total hypocrites. As I finish, let me mention this. I know most people fear. Like today, we have seen members of parliament, especially in Nairobi. Some of them, they want to be governors. What have they done by action to show for sure they are with the people, apart from the word of mouth and blogging, just like other people what we are doing now without offices? What are they doing? They are just trying to recoil themselves and pretend so that they can win our souls. Today, I'm surprised that somebody, let me just allow me to mention their names. People like Babu Owino. I'm surprised that people are praising Babu Owino. If at all Babu Owino is with the people, why don't he table a motion to impeach the president? People like Sifuna talking too much on TV, on radio, here, there, pretending to be the people. Which mention one action, please, by dear Kenyans, that shows that these people are with us. When we people we are being shot, we are being tear gassed, where do they hide? Where are they? The other day, I saw Babu Owino coming in the morning with his people, carrying him up, cheering. Then before the tear gas started, he left in a V8. Then you start saying that he is with the people. That is hypocrisy and that is pretense. People like Gakuya, they are there talking about Gen Z, oh, this, we are standing with you, we are with you. Which action have they done to show that they are with us? So these members of parliament, we need to visit them, we need to recall them out, we need to call them out for their pretense. What I'm saying is that these people need to be cleared. It doesn't matter where they are standing today, because we are tired with the word of mouth. We are in this problem, we are in the challenges that we are facing today. Unemployment, education system is failing, healthcare is failing because of more words and less actions. And those are the same people that you are here singing about them, praising them. Because they talk too much, they know how to coil their tongue to fit the tune of the ears that we want to hear, and yet they are doing nothing. These people are just the same people. If Kenyans can hear me today, we need by 2027 any member of parliament who is serving today, whether they are serving their first, second, third term, regardless of the number, they just need to go out and have a fresh start. I'm trying to imagine a country whereby people like Musalia Mudavadi, people like Wetangula, they will sit down and see how this nation is being run down in their village, so that they get notes how they ought to have done this, or how they ought to have run this nation. I'm looking at a nation whereby Raila Amolo Odinga, William Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, and the rest, they sit down and be a common mwananchi as young men and women run this nation, so that they should have known and they should see how nation ought to be run. I'm trying to imagine a nation whereby people like Aden Duale, Murkomen, people like Badi, they are deep in their village and see how this nation is being managed. And their children, their grandchildren enjoying services regardless of how they were raised. That is the nation that I'm looking up to. So, my dear Kenyans, let us not be fooled. I've seen people being fooled. And if you are here and I've mentioned any person that you are supporting, please just know that I have no apology. I have no apology at all, because these people have been there. We still have challenges. They have never provided any tangible solution. But what they do, they just give a word of mouth. And today we are tired with the word of mouth. I can just say what Wamnyoro said the other day, that we cannot promote what William Ruto is doing. We cannot. And that is the truth. He has overpromised. He has overlied. And that is exactly the thing that we want to repeat 2027. People who are just using the word of mouth to convince us, these are the people that they need to go home, regardless of their political affiliation. Let us get men and women who will fold their sleeves and get to work. That is exactly what we need to do as Kenyans. Let us not be fooled by word of mouth. Thank you so much, my fellow Kenyans. God bless you. God bless Kenya.
Thank you so much, Pamphil, for your input. And as I always say, if you're in my spaces or Afers or 10s, always remember to listen, understand, comprehend, and ingest. Anything you hear that is of importance, kindly make sure that you ingest this so that it will be your daily affirmation. It's like in Kenya now we have different forms of affirmations, yeah. And also another thing I'd like to say: if you're given a mic, kindly take a maximum of 3 minutes, because we have a lot of people who want to speak. And once you're done, go down so we can have more spaces for the microphone. Thank you so much. And my friend from Ghana, I can see you, Pazienza. Thank you for joining my space. I hope you can listen in. Thank you. So let us have Rudaman.
Thank you, the host and the co-host and the listeners and my fellow speakers. I really feel the pinch when what the president is doing, and I want to echo what the pamphlet has said. Me, I have two issues. One, pamphlet has spoken about it, is about the president being on the sunroof, giving a degree on our parents. We have been educated by our parents until the level we have reached now. When we have finished the colleges and the universities, we are seeking job opportunities, and we are saying these systems are not working. Somebody is labeling us terrorist. Asking for our right, we are labeled as terrorist. Does he think that he has his parenting skills are much far better than our parents? Does he have that ascendance tomorrow's? What is he trying to say? These people are the people who voted for him to be where he is. Now he's degrading them to the level that he doesn't consider them to be human beings. It's like they brought in on this earth people who don't matter. In fact, this president is the worst president I've ever seen in Kenya or I've ever had in history, who can come upon his people. Even Uganda is not doing this. Killing, if first time he has killed more than 200 people, what if sahi anafanya kama ni huruma kidogo sababu hataki kuua wengi, ameua sahi 200. What happens when he gets the second term? Can somebody think what this person can do if he gets a second chance? wakati is not going to seek any re-election. Somebody has talked about Ababu Namwamba. After Sabasaba, we requested Ababu Namwamba to take a motion of impeachment. Akatukoroga Kiswahili hivi ati hiyo tutaongea. We were surprised to see Ababu huyu not Ababu Namwamba, huyu Babu Owino. Is he called Babu Owino, sio MP? We were surprised to see him in a press conference saying that unajua hawa MPs hata ukitable motion hawezi fanya kitu sababu wote wamenunuliwa. Sisi tulikuambia we have a visiting day for the MPs. Just table a motion and we will compel these MPs to do what we want. That is what we are looking for, somebody to table that motion. It's like this guy venye Pamphlet alikuwa anasema they are not ready. They want the status quo to remain the same. Lakini wakikuja mbele yetu sisi wanatudanganya tuko na nyinyi, tuko na nini, lakini in the real sense they are doing nothing, absolutely nothing. That is my contribution I wanted to give. Thank you.
Wanjiru, take over. Okay, since Wanjiru is not on the mic, so please, if you want to speak, can you put your hands up to make my work a little bit easier? Kindly, it's just leave your hand up. Yes. I will have Wafula Kimani and then Brisan and then Junior Cliff. 3 minutes each. Excuse me, nasikika? Mnanisikia? Mbona watu wanachelewa kuchukua mic? Kindly, if you're not on the mic, just say so. That's why I need your hands up. If you're on the mic, kindly put your hand up. We have people who want to bring forth their points. Let's make this easier. Yes, we have limited time and there's lots of us who want to speak. So put your motherfucking hands up if you want to speak. God. No? Nobody is going to speak? Okay. Let's have it from Osoro and then Mau Mau. And please keep time. Yes?
Hello, freedom fighters. Hopes you are good. It's another day, but Mungu wako manze. So kuna kitu nimesikia. Nimejoin up late, but kuna kitu nimesikia. We guys were complaining about the MPs. Youths tuko peke yetu. These people wako huku wanakula. Both the parliament and the executive and the judiciary wako pamoja. So sisi peke yetu wananchi ndio tunajipigania. So the moment tukivisit mmoja, hao watu wataamka. The likes of Babu Owino wenye tunasema sijui they are with us, nobody is with the Gen Zs. Tuko peke yetu. But what I believe that siku yao itafika. Actually somebody say, I quote somebody mwenye alisema these people deserves a no re-election into parliament. Juu sasa hao watu hawatusaidii. Once the parliament is imenunuliwa, hakuna, watakuwa tu ni kama tu kitu kama yes to the president, to the executive. The parliament is supposed to be the checkmate of the executive. But again, guess what? Hawa watu hakuna kitu. Ushiona MP wenu akikuja kwenu akiita hata meeting kuuliza mnataka nini? No. Hawa watu I believe wanafaa kuchukua the views from the constituencies, wanachukua parliament. But again, wako tu Nairobi. Wako tu wanakula ara wenze zetu, wanapewa magari wanatembea. When the moment ukuja, watafikiria electorates are the same, unakuja unapea 200. So mi kitu naweza waambia ikifika hiyo time ya kupiga kura, you people piga kura na akili, piga kura na akili. But again, lazima tu visit mtu mmoja. Mi I'm waiting, msichana, I'm waiting for the day tunapanga tunasema we are going for Easter Pasaris. Hao watu wako hapo Nairobi. Tuanzie tu kamoja hapa Nairobi tu. Actually tuanze tu na impeachment motion. Tuanze tupate hiyo mtu draft hiyo impeachment motion. Tunamvisit na tunamwambia madam, hii kitu ifike parliament. If not tufanye kama tunaambia kama hii kitu itafika kesho parliament, we are coming again. Tukivisit tu watatu au watu wataamka again. Niliona jana kuna IBC imeweka hizi by elections kindly, kama kuna jensi mwenye anataka kuenda hizo position, there are 6 of them in the parliament, pia watatusaidia. Tukingoja hiyo tukingoja hiyo visiting au jensi waanze kujipanga, hapo ndio tunafaa tuonyeshe the government who we are. Najua how people the old politicians ni kama they are living in denial, bado hawajaamka macho. I thought ile time tulifika parliament walikuwa wameamka, but saizi tena washalala, so itabidi tuwakumbushe. Na mimi kitu naambia on daily basis, youth, simama hizi viti kind na don't musipegi hao politicians, sijui mheshimiwa nini. Those are our employers. So thank you guys for listening to me. Sawa sawa.
Mau, you on?
Sawa, thank you Patriots, and good evening Patriots. I hope you're all well. Ile kitu mimi naweza sema ni we have to keep the focus on, and I was very encouraged the weekend when I went to Kenyatta kuangalia comrades wetu. Una imagine guys were walking on clutches but wako na flag hapo kwa bed, wamehang flag kwa bed na mtu ako na risasi. You can imagine the kind of conviction that it takes, and I was really encouraged. Then the other good thing about this movement ni venye watu wamejitolea. I met 2 people wanaendaga huko kila siku bila kulipwa. They use mats every day kwenda huko kusalimia comrades. They've created a family, wanawajua by names. They go to all the floors, and I was really touched. People who are not even famous, they are not what, but they have that conviction. That conviction ndio tunafaa ku create for so many of us called the community of believers, because as we see it in numbers, and the conviction starts with simple things kama hizi kuvalia uniform. Wacha watu wabadilishe tuvae uniform, because that's one way of showing defiance. Kwa WhatsApp yako, kwa nini, and it's working. Mimi nimeulizwa professionally na watu, people who interact with professionally, wazee, nini umevaa, nini umekaa, and you explain to them why. But most of us when wanafikiria maybe they wanataka kuweka tu nini, let us have that conviction, deeper conviction. Thirdly, unaona, I'm glad tumesikia Afro amerudi, but how can we move beyond these spaces? How can we go to the next level of interactions? Like kuna kitu nimeona watu wana interact kwa hiyo inajitaga sijui Discord or something. We should figure out a way that apart from the traditional ways of communication, WhatsApp, as X and other ways, how can we be able to have a way that sisi wenye tumevalia uniform, the real people with a conviction, tukiwa tuna interact places kama huko Discord, unajua that's a gaming interaction huko, and it's very coded. So as in watu Afro akitik huko nini, tunajua tu wako safe ama nini na nini. We think of other ways apart from these traditional ways of communication kwa space, kwa nini, and we can be able to organize much more strategically other than these open spaces. That's my take, and let's keep on pushing. Kila mtu afanye kitu yake polepole, and hiyo visiting day is very important. Ikivisitiwa tu mmoja itasquare vitu. Sawa, viva comrades, thanks.
Thank you so much, Mau Mau. On the matter of having an alternate communication space, I always, I don't know why I forgot, but there is a channel, a private channel on Discord that I opened. It's for the Red Battalion. This uniform here, that's why I always say that it's important to wear the Red Battalion. It shows that you're pro the movement. Yeah, it is where when we decide that we are going to stage one massive something, yeah, it will get the government off guard, because as we speak right here in this room, we have people that, we have the NIS, we have the DCI, we have the 527 gang. So nothing, like, not everything can be discussed here, but in my Discord channel, which is private, for those that are already there, I know you can feel much safer there, because no one can go to your timeline. Your account is not at risk of being frisked or, like, hacked. So if you want to, you can DM me and I will check you out. I'll ask you a couple of questions to make sure that you are legitimate, and then I will add you to the channel, and hopefully it's going to be so much better, and it will also it will also ensure your security. Like, if you want to say something and you're afraid, some people don't like talking here because they're afraid. So you can forward your story or whatever, and then we can put it on live here on X, on the other social platforms. So kindly, if you want, you can join the Discord channel. It's only through me because it's private and I'm the only one giving out links, and it is super safe. Sawa sawa. So please lift your hands. Lift your hands if you want to speak, and let me not say it again to save time. If you want to speak, lift your hand. If you're on the microphone, it means you want to speak. So kindly lift your hand. Brisan, Molinge, yo, what's happening? Can you guys hear me? Ama nimekuwa nikijiongelesha.
A quick one before I forget. One last point.
Yes.
One last point before I forget. As I drop off. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, ongea.
Sawa. Tusisahau, on Sunday I was very quite angry venye huyu jamaa alienda huko Machakos akagive to your pastor. It is time for us also to start also tuoneshe church, especially kuna hii church inajiita AIC, African Independent Church. Huko ndiko anaenda galia, haezi enda Catholic, haezi enda PCA, haezi enda the mainstream churches, anaenda sasa kina AIC. So let us have a way of thinking through, like kama huyo pastor mwenye alikiftiwa hiyo gari, if we had comrades wa huko visit Sunday huko kwa church na flag waimbe nini, as in we just go around there watuone, just something of the sort, so that at least to know that at least we are following and we are carefully watching the guys who are taking the blood money. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Junior Cliff. Your hand is up. Molinge, if you want to speak, kindly mute your mic and lift your hand up. Thank you.
Thank you, msichana. I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute on your platform. We are in a sense of lawlessness as a country. It doesn't isolate youth from the other people. We are all in this problem as a country. And while we look for a solution, I would emphasize that we don't look for a solution that looks like it's centered to the youth. We should try to be broad enough, accommodate each and every one of us, the youths. That means we take all the generations since Alpha, all everybody should be encompassed in the solution oriented way of working that we as Kenyans want to encompass on. We should gather together, even if it's visiting. Let's not isolate ourselves as Gen Zs or as the youth. I would want us to gather as a strong nation, as one people, with the purpose of getting out everyone who is not a good leader, who is not people-centered, out of power or leadership. Then we get a good leader who necessarily doesn't mean that he is Z. A leader can come from any generation. So what we should be searching for is a leader who is people-centered, with the interest of the people, for the people. Yeah. Then from there, we will be able to gather strength as Gen Zs now to get our own leader in due time. I am encouraging each one of us to encourage another person so that we get registered as voters. That is one thing that is not being said properly, not being emphasized, because it will kick this government out of office. Let every one of us have a voters card, in as much as we want to talk, in as much as we want to rant. What we need is a voters card, an ID. Yeah. Now that we have in place an IEP that has already informed us that we can go on and register, please let every one of us register as a voter. Then from there, we will have the upper hand. However this government want us to go, we will kick them out early in the morning. Please, let's register as voters as early as now. That is where the government is waiting for us. In as much as we fail there, these people who are saying we can only kick them out through the ballot. Without the voters card or without registering, then you don't have the power. The other power will be in the streets. So we would rather get prepared on the ballot so that in the streets it would be easy for us. I learned there for today. Back to you, Msichana.
Yes, thank you very much, Junior Cliff, for your sentiments. And it is true that mchukue kura tafadhali, because inshallah Mungu anajalia December we are going to vote in for new members of parliament, because we are going to recall the current ones. Sawa sawa. It's not simply because of 2027. Remember, we are going to recall the current members of parliament because they are useless, they are not helpful, they're incompetent. So take your voters card, go register for the voting process. Very soon December inshallah tunachukua kura kwenda kutoa mtu kama Ishungwa, tunaenda kutoa mtu kama Didmas Barasa, that useless man. And then there is this fool by the name of KK, I think his name is KK, he's from Dagoretti something. And then that woman, her name is Beatrice Elachi. We have another fool by the name of Jalango, that comedy, is it a comedian? Arudi afanye skits. We do not elect people to go perform for us. We want them to work. So kindly, as you have been advised by Junior Cliff, chukueni kura. Very soon tunaenda kupanga mstari kupatia watu ambao wanastahiki. Tunaenda kuwapatia kura zetu. Sawa sawa. So let us hear from the man in suit. Mr. Mulinge, how are you doing?
if we get the signatures, they will come up with other technicalities to stop us. So I'm very sure recalling the MPs won't be an easy thing. Now, lazima, we must be pragmatic. We must be real. I remember some years ago, there was these different movements trying to come up with the referendum issues and everything. And they were frustrated by the IEBC. They our best to not work. Number two was about registering as voters. We shouldn't be debating about registering right now. Everyone should have already done so. Now, when you register, they should. IBC August, so everyone should do that. Another thing is about this Ruto is the terrorist. That one we are all in agreement because Ruto became a terrorist back in 1992, and everyone knows this. Ruto has been all through his life. And you remember during the 92 days, this thing they called the Youth for Kanu movement, 92, they terrorized Kenyans. So Ruto has always been a terrorist, and he will not silence us. That one we will defeat him. And I am very sure, I have said this, Ruto's regime is in its final and battle stage. And the moment we came up with these terrorism charges, I knew very well the guy. Every other thing he's doing, he is going to silence us. So we shouldn't give him an opportunity to silence us. Like we should defeat him in every front. And by doing so, he will run out of options, and lastly, he will run away. So whatever he's doing now, it was expected. He started with abductions, hiyo ikafail, akakuja killings, ikafail. Sasa amekuja kutumia the courts to come up with this very, very I would call them stupid charges because it was Yeleweki. So I think we will stop him, we will defeat him, and there is no way this guy will win against more than 56 million Kenyans. We are the majority, and we cannot be silenced by the minority. So another thing is issue of visiting MPs. We shouldn't just stop at just visiting one. We should mobilize Kenyans in all constituencies, like because ukiangalia Wakenya wengi wanajua mbunge wao anaishi wapi, wanajua kwao nyumbani, kwake nyumbani. That's what I mean. They know where he lives, they know his properties, they know everything associated with their MPs. So it shouldn't just be in Nairobi. Understand? Like it should be everywhere, in every corner of this country. Kenya wanafaa, like, because now look, we cannot continue like this where a very few people. And by the way, guys, another thing, as we talk about recalling, as we talk about visiting,
So
we must ask ourselves, how did we get here where we are today? And I have said this in different platforms that we got here because we cheapened, we lowered the bar of leadership. I don't know whether you guys understand me. Like we lowered the bar. Any idler, any heckler can now become an MP. That is where we are as a country. People who do not stand for anything, people who have never stood for anything, people with no principles, no ideologies, no integrity. Like now we lowered the bar so low that you even wonder. By the way, let me tell you one thing. If you happen to interact with these people calling themselves members of parliament, I can assure you, apart from the money they have, their brains are empty. They are empty-headed. You can listen. You can. Some of them ni watu hata huwezi wasikiza for 2 minutes. Yani mtu, they have nothing to offer. You can sit with them on a table and they have completely nothing to offer, and then you wonder how they became MPs. So Kenyans have been electing all manner of clowns, because you cannot elect someone, a con man, for example, and then you expect better from them. So the moment we lowered the bar of leadership, we invited all these kind of problems we are going through today. And the only way we can get out of here, of course, civic education must be on the forefront. But also as Kenyans, lazima pia sisi tujiulize tunataka nini? Because you cannot elect some, like for example, guys, William Ruto, we knew this guy, people knew this guy, this guy's history, but when he went to the people, he told them, oh, now you shouldn't talk about history, hizo ni vitu zilipita, so you guys should embrace wheelbarrows and every other thing. And guys, that was enough. That was enough to know this guy is a con man. That was enough to know this guy is empty-headed. Anyway, guys went ahead and elected him. So I am talking about the bar of leadership in the country. And there is no way we will ever get out of where we are today if we don't work on that. We must start asking questions. We must start scrutinizing these people. Like before electing someone, lazima tukuwe tunajua huyu ni mtu wa aina gani. Sijui kama mnanielewa, because now you cannot shout about you cannot talk about accountability, about good governance, about development if you have not worked on the kind of leaders you have. Because you cannot talk about accountability to a murderer. You cannot talk about good governance to a thief. You cannot talk about development to someone who doesn't understand what that means. And that is why we have I think I can say 99% of the members of parliament we have today are people who do not know the functions of a member of parliament. Hawajui kabisa like mbunge anafaa kufanya nini. And that's why ukiwauliza anything, they talk about CDF. Anything CDF, because to them, they are there just to get these CDF monies and steal. So now, the other issue was about...
Malinga, kindly wind up. The maximum time is 3 minutes and you've gone overboard, kindly.
Acha nimalizie kwa kusema it's upon us Kenyans. Saa hizi ni sisi wenyewe tujue tunataka nini going forward, and it shouldn't just be posting on social media and everything. This war should now be taken off social media to the streets. That is where battles are won. Isikuwe tu kutweet, isikuwe tu kupost kwa X, isikuwe tu kupost kwa kuongea TikTok and everything. It should now graduate from social media to the ground. Let's engage people pale chini. Let's talk to each and everyone. Mwenye unapatana na yeye, anyone mwenye unajua, talk to them, because there is no, hakuna mtu atakuwa, mtu asikuambia ati mimi spendi siasa, spendi nini. Since politics inaamua kila kitu kwa maisha yako saa hizi. So let's politicize everyone. Acha nifike hapo.
Thank you so much for your sentiments. Good people, kindly let us keep time. And I am spreading the gospel of wearing this one. This you see, you can look at my profile picture. Kindly, if you're able to, watu wangu wa kuweka nini profile pictures kwa comments. We are recruiting. Do your work. Sioni mkizungumza hapo chini. Remind people that we are supposed to wear uniforms. Kindly uniform up. It is very important, because if Ruto were to enter here right now, aone like everyone here is wearing this uniform, he will get it in his head that we still hate him for free, that we are giving him a middle finger, that we are not scared of him. And Mulinga, I've heard you saying that it's time to go to the streets. Remember, online is where we do the online is the meeting point, because we have people from different parts of Kenya. There is someone here who is at the coastal area. There's someone in central, someone who is in northeastern, western, each and every corner of Kenya. We are all here. So if we are talking about the gospel of Ruto must go, we are talking about the gospel of MPs visiting day. Each and everyone here is listening. So I always say that in here we speak, we spread the gospel. It is up to you as a patriot of the land to make sure you spread the gospel. Talk to your people in Garissa, talk to your people in Mandera, talk to your people in Ukunda, ongea na watu wako every corner of Kenya. Tell them this and this is what is going to happen in the near future. It will be in either this week, next week, but everyone should be aware that we are planning to start visiting the MPs in their respective homes. They literally follow social media. People, the political class usually say online or the ex people are not as powerful as they think. But if we were to say tomorrow we are going to the streets, trust me, they will start backing out here, talking about how the internet must be restricted and all that. So there is so much power. In as much as there is power kwa ground, there is power hapa online. Do you understand me? So let it never be said that whatever we do here, the late nights we push, the voices we spread, the noise we make, that it does not make a difference. It does in a very, very big way. If you join me on a daily basis, if you join Afro or if you join 10 on a daily basis, we spread the gospel of, do not forget that Ruto is the terrorist. He is the one that we want to deal with. He is the head of the snake, and we want to kill this snake. Once the head of the snake is done with, the body is useless. So continue to inject online, and once the voice is high enough, we are going to go to the ground and they will feel our wrath. Kindly make retweets, make discuss it with your friends, spread the gospel, tell people that we are going to visit the members of parliament. Sawa sawa, my good people. So if I give you the mic, kindly keep time, maximum of 3 minutes. And if you want to speak, you can send in a request. We have enough space. We can hear it, we can listen to you, and everyone wants to hear what you have to say. So let's hear from Master. Your hand is up.
Thank you so much, msichana nachukia Ruto for giving me the space. That's all. Request another account yenye ilikuwa inajiita Bob, but unfortunately Asira wakanilokia account mazee. So I haven't been pushing the thing, but kwa hii account pia nimekuwa nikipush tuvaa uniform mazee. If you check, hata I think nimecomment hapa mazee, tuvaa uniform cause si wale tuko united hapa kutoka day one tu juu ya Ruto mazee. Like adui ni Ruto, kitu ilituleta hapa ni tuko hapa juu ya Ruto. Like I've watched msichana anachukia Ruto from being a speaker like me. I think I had a first talk. Alikuwa na matemper like from wanting to ban something to becoming a host and a co-host. Yeah, kumaanisha like hasira bado and lecture those people about sijui they are wasting time on something, then he interrupted the course session. Hata one term. Ambia preacher wako alichukua hiyo gari one term so that message ifike home. So a person who steals the show gets more audience, like hata inaenda viral hata kuliko the original speaker. So hizi ni tactics kadhaa zenye tunaweza tumia. Enda kwa matanga, huyo MP akiongea, interrupt, say something yenye like for instance kaule mse najua kurusha kiatu but mse alipiga, but huyo mse alirusha kiatu ilienda viral hata kuliko speech takataka zote hiyo Kasongo alikuwa anasema. So it went so viral na hii inapata Wakenya, so inakuwa the talk of the nini. Like kuna mse alipata preacher akiuonga akamnyang'anya mic akasema one term. Kuna mse ali-interrupt speech ya Prezo akasema one term. So hizi ni vitu tuna push na ndio sai kwenda sai street ni tricky cause like in as much as tuko na hiyo rage pia also financially hatuko ready mazee. Like ukienda huko udakwe bill sijui ya 300k inakuwa tricky. Like tumekuwa tukisema ati msee anataka kuturudisha kwa dictatorship, but honestly if we look at it in the bigger picture, we already in dictatorship. Msee ni tyrant. Like tyranny is already imposed on us, so it's up to us tujitoe kwa hii tyranny. Now how do we get ourselves out of this? Number one, defiance tu. Nikiingia tu online space yote tu nipate msee hajavaa kofia anatoka tu, like feel safe kwa hiyo space. But nikicheki nikiingia tu hapo kila msee amevaa uniform, like I feel I'm home. And also another reason maze, like we honestly, like in as much as tuko nini we don't take intimidation. Like we shouldn't be intimidated now, say. So like I've seen suggestions like maybe we should form other communication channels that are safer, but I honestly feel like if I say, like I keep saying, if I say wanataka kukupata, they'll still narrow it down to you. Wataka mkuu wako msichana watakupata, so you can run but you can't hide. So I feel like we shouldn't even be wasting energy to create some other communication channels, cause say wakutaka watakupata. Na also vitu tunaongea si illegal, like it's constitutionally allowed. Like we're not planning to destroy we're here because we love our country. We're here because we're fighting for better governance. So like I feel like hatufai kuogopa sana. Our spaces are here, our NIS whatever. Ndio Loki wanatusupport but hawezi kama open juu wako kwa gava. But pia like I have a feeling like kuna a bigger percentage that in a field we headed to the wrong direction. And also about leadership, like I've seen honestly mseka mi niko hapa za nini, mi niko hapa juu nataka vitu ziwake. I don't want to be a leader. Like I've seen people like kuna msee anajiita Honorable Osoro, like and he wants to be a leader. Tutamsupport tu mazee. If he's a visionary now, if he has good intentions, good luck. Like we wish you all the best. We can't stop a man from doing what we said cannot be done, ama what we feel like tuko fit for. So if he wants it, what's aende. But for me personally, I'm here because nataka vitu ziwork. So I see people arguing mostly Matiang'i is the best leader, sijui Maraga, sijui nani mazee. Like me, I'll say anybody apart from Ruto for now is fit for leadership. So we shouldn't be fighting so much about who should succeed this man, because honestly, if we're into this supporting. So watachukua kura za maybe mara population tuko Twitter, the intellectuals that tuko hapa tuko very few. Like if we say
So naongea
population iko
bro.
Twitter,
Can I talk?
population iko Twitter kiasi tu dakika moja.
Juu
So I'm saying population, unasemaje? Let me
My
actually
dear,
win.
remember we said 3 minutes. Kindly let us keep time. A lot of people want to speak. Sawa dear.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me wind up. So as I'm finishing up, I'm saying, so the population that is on Twitter, hatuko wase wengi sana Twitter. So in as much as we want change, let's not rally behind a candidate who stands no chance. So ikifika hiyo time, let's be wise. Let's go with the masses to say so that we discuss better after there. So thank you for the space. Shukran sana. I'm seeing Afrocentric is back. Nashukuru, keep on injecting msichana natukia Ruto mazee. I'm your biggest fan out of nowhere tu cause ile spirit yako ya kuinject, keep it up. And Wanjiru also, sijui uniform alitaka kwa nini but tuendelee to keep on the uniforms and much love to everyone in the space. Thank you.
guys, I have
Uniform
a message.
itarudishwa.
If you can let me speak.
Let me give you the mic. Who is Laga X? So the mic is yours. Alafu
Thank you so much. So I have a message for the Kenyan youth, because obviously we are the future that we hope for. You get? Wanjuru, you can back me on that. Like, you are future that you hope for, so you have to work hard to make that future come to realization. So for me, let me just speak my point. And this is my point. I have a whole speech. Can you let me speak? There's a whole speech.
Guys,
Yes,
remember we're
yes.
keeping time, so if you can,
Okay.
yeah.
How many minutes do I have?
Right
I will
now
keep that.
tuko 50, so 53 umalize.
53 minutes or
No,
seconds?
sorry, minute. I mean, I need you to use 50. Sorry, use 3 minutes. Cause it's
Okay,
11:50.
okay. Good afternoon, because I'm in the UK. Okay, that's good afternoon for me. So, good afternoon. I stand before you, not just as a Kenyan youth, but as a hopeful one. Okay? Hopeful that our generation will rise above fear, beyond tribalism, and beyond empty promises. You've seen that. For too long, politics is our country has been a theater of broken dreams, where power rotates among the same hands, with the rest of us remain like spectators in a game that determines our every future. But the time has come for us, the youth, to like stand for what you want. The same way Mama that, stand on it, okay? And start. All of you need to start being like hard. We need to stop being bots during elections and start buying into our own vision for this nation. Like, Kenya looks up to us as the young people. So I don't know who is hearing me, but I want you to understand that we're young and we understand the vision, okay? We studied. Most of us have been in university. We've done degrees and all that. And we understand the basics. So if you have something to stand for, please stand for it. Hata kama utapigwa tear gas, bullet, stand for it. This is what makes a change. We have to be strong and courageous. I think with the regime that we're dealing with, hakuna, like, you cannot back down. Stand on what you believe in. That's what makes a difference. There are so many people backing you. You may never know that, but there's so many people like behind you. So that's my point, to be honest.
Okay, thank you, Raga X. But it's actually good evening from the UK, and not afternoon, and actually good night for Kenyans, in Kenya. Thank you for your message, and I think the way you've said it's also an encouraging statement to everybody. We are people are actually behind us, and everyone is actually behind each and every person. And it's also good to hear people from abroad. They're actually also supporting the movement, and there are also Kenyans of sober mind saying Ruto must go in whichever country they are. And being called terrorist is also a bad thing. I also want us to understand the depth of being called a terrorist. Terrorist ni watu ambao waliua watoto Garissa University. Terrorist ni watu ambao waliua watu Dusit Duty. And terrorists are actually people who actually killed massive of people in Westgate. So being told you're that such a person or having such a crime kama hiyo, we should actually not take it for granted. It's a grave crime, and that's why Ruto must go. He ameshindwa na kazi, ameshindwa na kazi kabisa.
You for minutes.
Ni time hatuna, but yeah, just go on.
The thing with me is, like, once you choose a side, the thing with Kenyan youth, like, we're so swayed so much. Uliona kwa hiyo, like, sijui mganya ya this son of William Ruto, people showed up and most of them were youths. Like, why did we show up? Why? Can we stand on business? Like, if we choose a side, can we just, like, ride with it?
I do understand your frustration, Laga X, but at the same time, I also say you cannot control everybody. Mwenye anasikia Ruto amemfika kwenye ko, they are on our side. Mwenye anasikia, and the one thing with Ruto, hata umpendi ama umchukie, he will still eat you. The same taxes you're paying. Si ati mwenye ana support Ruto fuel atapata na 170, sisi tukilipa 188. He will still pay the same amount of money. So hating Ruto is actually for everybody, and there will come a time. And I think what is making is because the youths went there. It was a free event. It being a free event, we never know if also people are paid to attend. Hii serikali ni ya wajinga, so they might even have paid people to attend the thingy, as they pay people to attend the empowerment. So do not be frustrated when you see a few people attending Ruto's event and shouting. Hao ni watu wamelipwa, so don't be frustrated, Lager X. As we continue on, I see the heart of Global Africa, and karibu sana everybody else is joining. It's actually a few minutes to midnight. So Global Africa, I give you the mic. Dakika tatu, so ikifika midnight, you drop. We can have to Mulinge and Genius Ghost. I remember adding you, Prince Baha. So Global Africa, the mic is yours.
No, I already spoke.
And I gave it to another person, Anajita Global African. If Global African is not there, let's just go with the order. We're going to have Mulinge. Mulinge,
Hello,
if
are
you're
you
not there, then
Yes,
Global
Nico.
Africa unatusikia? Hello guys, can you hear me?
Wanjiro,
wachana na yeye.
excuse me,
Nani?
everyone. Excuse me. Mulinge has already
Hello guys,
spoken.
good evening from Nairobi.
No, Mulinge, you have already spoken. Can we have other speakers kindly? We have
Okay,
It's
so
because
have
his
already
hand was
spoken.
up, so I kind of thought he was you're not spoken,
No,
but
he
no
already
worries.
spoke for
Can Jimmy
17
James proceed
minutes.
talking?
Something to add on. Add some.
Excuse me,
Good.
can we have order in this house? Kindly. Please mute your mics. Mulinge, you have already spoken. I will have global. Yes, and that is why I always say to lift your hands. Mulinge, please mute your mic. Jimmy, mute your mic kindly. If you've already spoken, please go down so more people can air their views. This is an open forum and I support equality. Thank you very much. Global, hata wewe ongea.
I think you better give me the mic. Thank you.
All right, Henry, go ahead.
Wakenya hamjambo. Nyinyi ni watoto wadogo kwangu. I'm so happy to be given this chance to address you guys. I left Kenya last week and my daughter was with me and she asked me several questions about how the Kenyan situation is because it's the first time she has been to Kenya. Mimi si rika yenu. I'm an older guy. I was in Kenya. I was involved in a 1982 coup attempt against Moi, and I was tortured. I'm a victim of torture, and right now I've got a case in the Kenyan High Court. Judgment is due anytime. Kitu tu ningependa kuwaomba, please, don't be excited over this. Last year, I advised some of the Gen Z and children. I call you children because I'm older than you anyway. Niliwaambia kitu kimoja kwamba Ruto msipomtoa, he will come back and start plucking you off one by one. And nobody's going to raise a finger, and it's happening now. Because Ruto is right now is a representative of the IMF and World Bank and the Western imperialist, what do you call, they want to invest in Africa and invest as little as possible and get the maximum as possible. And you know the game. They will always support the person who is a figurehead. Not to mention, if you look at Lumumba, Sankara, and all those people have gone before us, they didn't want them because they were true to the African spirit. Sasa nyinyi, please be careful. Who do you want to replace Ruto? Who do you want to replace Ruto? Do you want somebody who serves the IMF and the World Bank? Because right now, Ruto is serving these people. And they're not lifting a finger when the children of Kenya disappear. They're called terrorists, they're called all names. I've not heard of any condemnation from the US, UK, or the European Union. I want you to remember this because I told you last year during the Gen Z demonstration, I told you that if you don't get rid of Ruto and you install somebody like the Traore type, bado mtarudi kwa mtaro. And that's where we are. Now, some of us, or many of you don't seem to realize this. You are looking at Ruto as Ruto as a person. Ruto is not a person. Ruto is a rep. He's a representative of the organization that is trying to put Africa down. Unless you realize that, bado tunaenda kwa mtaro. If you put me in Ruto's shoes and I still have the Ruto's bill that taxes Mama Mboga and all that, that's what the IMF wants. We want somebody who brings progressive policies in Africa. We don't have that up to now in Kenya. We don't have that up to now in Tanzania or Uganda. As soon as that person comes up, they will be called to Washington or to London and given instructions. And that's happened to Ruto last time he went to Washington and he came back silent. Mchunge sana. Africa is very, very attractive. Africa is like a beautiful girl. Tuna kila kitu, but we don't know how to take care of our natural resources. The division of Africa is been designed from the beginning. We are divided along tribal lines and national lines. Remember, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania is not our making. This is the colonialists' making. They met in Berlin and put up a country called Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. It's not ours. Jiulize, mbona Wamasai wamekuwa divided? Why do we carry up this flag and I'm proud to be Kenyan, I'm proud to be Tanzanian, Ugandan. These countries don't belong to us, guys. They belong to the colonialists. Now you go back to the basics. We shall win if we go back to the basics and say, right, Africa, Mother Africa is one. Hakuna borders. We shall beat them if we come up with that. Ruto is just a symptom of the disease that is right now in Africa, from the west to east, north to south. We have been divided, and we have been divided along tribal and whatever lines they put up for us. We should not accept that. Even if you put me in Ruto's position now, say Henry's going to be in State House, unless I'm brave enough to stand up and say, I'm like Traore, we want Africa first, there is no way we're going to succeed. Wacha mambo ya ukabila. Tutoe Ruto, yes, tuweke Gachagua, or whatever you call him. But what do we achieve in the end? Is it tribalism? Is it really emancipation of Africa that we want one Africa? And that's what I want you guys to drive for. Okay? Mimi nimekuwa committee from 1982, guys, and I've not seen any changes. Bado tunaimba tu, saizi tunaimba Ruto must go, Ruto must go. But I ask myself, what replaces Ruto? Is it better than Traore? Is it Traore? Or like Museveni, that we want a dictator? Or we want a Kenyan who leads Africa, like the Gen Z spirit that came up last year? I was crying. I said, these children have woken up. Nyinyi mwamke, mwambie watu, Africa is one. Wachana na mambo, Ruto must go. Africa is one. We want to liberate Africa. Ruto akienda, what do we replace him with? We want Africa to stand up. We have a lot of opposition. The enemy is one. IMF, World Bank. They want us to be where we are. Look at Congo. Look at Angola. Look at all the African countries that are producing minerals. At the end anywhere, they end up in Europe. We are not looking at that. We are looking at Ruto must go. There's a bigger picture which you're supposed to fight for. If you fight for that, mtashtua watu. Because the imperialists left Africa, but they didn't leave. And anybody who knows a history will support me there. They left Africa, but they didn't leave. Waliacha representatives, wow. And they go around recruiting people, saying you can be the president if you really fall to the line. And we have had people who are called presidents, but actually they're puppets of the Western powers because they perpetuate the African myth that Africa is there for the taking. Africa is been raped. Africa has been anything that has been done in Africa. Remember, we have not had any reparations. Bado tunakuwa raped. Bado our minerals are taken. And we don't seem to see that. Africa is the engine that drives the world. And somebody has said the best way to make sure that Africa provides us with raw minerals, to make sure that they're divided along tribal and ethnic lines. And it's working in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, and everywhere else. We don't seem to see this unless we come up with something that's going to cover, that's going to eradicate our tribalism, nationalism, because there's no country called Kenya. There's no nation called Uganda, Tanzania. These things are put on us by the colonialists, and they're so happy when they see us flying the Kenyan flag. Where did it come from? What Ugandan flag? Where did it come from? Mbona tuna, why were we worshipping these people? They gave us these flags. For goodness sake, mtoe hii mambo yote and you'll be good. I will die a happy man. I've been to Kamiti, I've been to Naivasha, I've read Raila's name on the wall of the prison, Koigi Omwere, all this 1982 coup attempt. And what I'm telling you now is real. That if you do not be realistic in your aims, that even Ruto will listen to you, mkimwambia saizi, he will understand. Because Ruto started out very well last year, wakati alisema, we want oil to be bought in shillings. Nobody would hear of that. And you know why? Because the Western world wants oil to be bought in dollars. And there's a very big sinister reason why. From 1973, they decided that oil will be bought in dollars. Why? Because the Arabs brought the world to a standstill because of the Arab-Israeli war. And up to now, the BRICS and dollar sides are fighting to dominate the world. Sisi wa Afrika tuko wapi? So you guys, you're fighting a war, but you don't understand how serious this war is. I told you last year, if you don't get rid of Ruto by going to State House, Ruto will come and pick you one by one and kill you. And nobody's going to condemn him. Up to now, hamjasikia anywhere, any country in the world condemning Ruto for picking off you one by one, because he's their rep. He's the representative of the West, the IMF and World Bank. You have to be very careful here. Come up with a movement that is going to be Pan-Africanist, that encompasses the whole of Africa, and gradually we shall overcome. But if you come up with a tribal card saying Ruto must go one term, okay, we shall replace Ruto with Gachagua or whatever, Natembeya or whatever, that is not going to solve anything, because these guys will call whoever you choose to Washington or to London. Wanampatia instructions, atarudi nyumbani, atampatia taxes the same, the IMF taxes the same, which they don't give in their own countries. So we want Africa that is emancipated, Africa that is free. It's going to cost blood, it's going to cost lives. I want you to be aware of this. Si kuongea tu mambo ya mtandao ati mnaongea kwa X ama WhatsApp or whatever you call it. This is serious. Wakiona you are at least talking to 1, 2, 3 people, and these people are joining you, they'll come and kill you. And it's happening because they have to survive. And how do they survive? They survive on us. And it's been like that for many years. Africa is there for the taking. Now we want you to put a barrier. Please, 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 my children, put a barrier. You are our only hope. I'm crying as I speak now. You are our only hope. Msipoweka this barrier, these guys are still, what I'll be vulgar and say they're still screwing us. And they will not stop. Surely they will not stop. What a tour. They will kill a lot of our leaders. Just be aware of that. If there's anybody who has got any idea or any views that are contra to what I've said, please, I challenge them to come or DM me. But what I stand for is the truth. Mchunge sana. Any of you who is not under the CIA or the MI5 or whatever Western powers influence, msimame, muonge, look at each other. Because what I can say is all your names, because somebody's called Prince, Global, Jimmy. Why? 254. Why? It's because we're afraid of identifying ourselves. Why are we afraid? Because
Dr.
the continent
Henry,
is not ours. Sasa mchunge hapo, please. Can I
Dr.
finish
Henry,
now?
it's
Good
Wanjiru.
luck. Good luck in whatever you're doing. And I sincerely hope that you succeed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Henry. For the rest of the speakers, would you maybe try to not talk for 10 to 13 minutes so that we can actually have everyone submit their their opinions. So thank you, Dr. Henry, for reminding us about Ruto must go. You said we shouldn't say that, um, but uh, but I am for Ruto must go. Even if you were for the opinion we shouldn't say it, I will continue saying it because that's what
Sorry,
resonates to me for the movement.
sorry, I didn't say you shouldn't say that. I said what comes after. Sorry.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, you said what comes after. That's the question which everyone is
Yeah.
asking themselves. And
Yeah.
maybe to answer for myself, I would say whoever comes after knows and realizes the what Kenyans really want. Kenyans do not want somebody who is like him. And whoever comes after will be afraid we might occupy the state house. We'll be afraid we might go back to the street and protest again. So whoever comes after Ruto is going to be a person who will put the country first, because tutaweza kasirika na tunaweza kasirika na tumtoe choir a manifesto. We don't need such manifestos again. Sababu tukichagua hata Matiang'i kesho na akose kufanya kazi, me myself I will go to the state house and remove him.
Also, a point over there of correction for doctor is that how do you solve a big problem? You break a big problem into its smaller constitutional parts, and then you begin developing solutions from the bottom coming up, or from the smaller problems you solve them, and then you're able to solve the bigger problem. A lot of the African issues are very layered, and if you shift the focus, especially of the movement, to IMF and the World Bank, and how how the international community is set up, and how the Western powers are profiting from African resources, where do we go? Where do we start? You want youth to march to the UN offices, or you want us to start getting on planes and going to Switzerland or New York? We realize our issue right now, the small issue is Ruto. Right now, he's the one in charge of the country. He's our head of state, and it's the reason why we have so much insecurity in the country. There's a lot of abductions going, a lot of killings. So we have decided even to break the problem even further down and go down to the MPs who are empowering him, so that we can begin to work our way up and deal on these levels, on the levels of this problem, until even we reach ultimately to the IMF. They know we are coming, and that's why we are being suppressed. Because once we are able to bring down this illegitimate president Ruto, or Africa wakes up, it will affect the region. We are already seeing a lot of protests on the street against the ruling family in Togo. We're already seeing a lot of youth rise up in the continent and very focused on what's going on in Kenya. It's an awakening. So we're beginning to deal with this level from the bottom going up. So I believe, yes, Ruto has to go for the region and for East Africa and Africa at whole to awaken up. That's how I see it. Msichana, back to you.
Thank you so much for that emphasis. It is important. As we've said, we are dealing with the problems that are within. If we reclaim our country, we will block the interference of the IMF, of each and Samuel. Ninashinda nikimute mic yako una unmute. Kindly mute your mic. Thank you. We are dealing with the problems inside the country, so that we are fighting to have our Ibrahim Traore moment. Ibrahim dealt with the problem within the boundaries of his country, and that is why right now he's a hot cake. The IMF cannot touch him. The CIA, each and every organization that is pulling down the development of Africa, is unable to access Burkina Faso, simply because they have their Ibrahim. And we are also trying so much hard to fight for our Traore moment. The minute we reclaim our country, all these entities will never lay hands in our country again. So we cannot get out of the Kenyan soil and start fighting wars from outside the country. So that is the point we would like each and everyone to understand, that we will not be fighting bigger wars that require us to use more resources when we can do something as quick as removing Ruto from the seat of power. So let us have Global Africa, and then there is this one with the tiger, I don't know, and then I'll have Prince Baha. 3 minutes kindly. If you don't consider the time, I'm going to drop you. Thank you. Global Africa, if you're not there, let us hear from this person with the tiger. I don't know what your name is.
Yeah, my name is Leo. Thank you so much for the space. I'm called Johnnyman. And mine is to echo what this guy was talking about IMF, anaitwaje, the doctor. I may raise some valid points, though I won't agree with everything he said. Yani vile tu Afro amesema, we won't have to take claims, to go to those, at the UN. But I may raise point ya maana, we have to go back to our roots. Democracy tunasema tunita